Hello, my name is Jennifer Dunlap. At the end of my speech, you will be persuaded to realize that obesity is not just the lack of movement and being lazy. The status of obesity has risen in America by 40%. Due to American habits that we have created, lack of physical activity, bad eating habits, health conditions, and lack of movement. Our perception for obesity is very negative in America. However, some of the reasons that we suffer with obesity is due to lack of physical activity. A young child back in the day would be more than inclined to go outside and run with their friends until the streetlights would come on. Unfortunately, today that is not the case. But many people struggle with physical activity due to no time to exercise, lack of self-motivation, fear of injury, and fear of boredom with the exercises. When we have these issues in front of us, of course we don't want to exercise. What's the point? What's the fun? Some of the reasons that physical activity that does not happen can be also due to excessive electronic use and lack of movement. What we also fail to realize is that stress and lack of sleep can increase our chances of obesity. With this condition, obesity, having low levels of activity, it can also be at risk for health conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and obstructive sleep apnea. Obesity can be linked to poor eating habits. Obesity can also be linked to poor eating habits, such as snacking in front of the TV with highly processed and caloric-dense foods, skipping breakfast, emotional eating, and stressful eating. These are all concerns that people have with obesity. Today, I will persuade you to take a deeper look at obesity and the conception that people have. You may not be aware that some of these conditions that people experience are due to high-risk obesity. I have put these examples into three main categories: lack of physical activity, health conditions, and poor eating habits. Lack of activity. According to Deterrence of Exercise and Behavior, personal barriers are something that many people experience, such as no time to exercise, lack of self-motivation, fear of being injured, and boredom with exercises. Something that we also are all guilty of is excessive electronic usage in our poor environment. From the report, Can Screen Time Affect Obesity? They have found that there is strong evidence that this can lead to a greater risk of obesity. According to Can Screen Time Cause Too Much Weight Gain? Almond 22. The primary issue with weight gain and obesity for the environment is the high caloric intake and socioeconomic status. This can lead to a toxic environment. According to Obesity is an environmental issue. Problems. Sleep loss is known to create a cortisol imbalance in our bodies, which can lead to overeating and weight gain, according to the link between obesity and sleep deprivation. Stress also plays a major role in high cortisol levels that can also lead to obesity. According to Stress and Obesity, are there more susceptible individuals? I have previously talked to you about the problems that people have with physical activity and the problems that may occur. Now I will talk about the health conditions that come with obesity. Health conditions. High blood pressure is the common problem for people with obesity. According to 10 health conditions and problems linked to obesity. Diabetes is also a major risk factor for people with severe obesity, Rotini 22. We also realize that obstructive sleep apnea is a common issue that many people face with obesity. Now that you have seen the health conditions that are linked to obesity, I would like to talk about the poor eating habits and the lack of movement, such as snacking on food in front of the TV, skipping breakfast, eating out, and emotional eating. Snacking in front of the TV. Studies show that excessive watching of TV in childhood years can lead to the risk of obesity into adulthood. Mindless eating in front of the TV is linked to obesity due to how careless we become when the entertainment is in front of us. One study suggests that breakfast skippers have more insulin resistance than somebody who does not. Not all of us get hungry, so therefore we should only focus on our hunger cues that tells us when to eat and when not to eat. Eating out. When we eat out, the meals are cheap, high in fat, salt, and very sugary. Studies have shown that by doing 3 or more of these actions a week, we are at higher chance of risks of obesity. Restaurant food is typically large in portions and is typically high in calories and fats. Emotional eating. Stress and negative moods are able to influence appetite, inversely prompting several people to eat more or eat less. Emotional eating can hit you out of nowhere, and when we are often turned to food for comfort, even when many of us are struggling and bored. In conclusion, I hope that I persuaded you to take a deeper look at how obesity affects each and every one of us. Even though studies have shown us how obesity affects every one of us, many people tend not to listen or even take a look around. Even if I have only reached one person today and that has listened to this speech, I hope that you are able to realize the effects of obesity. And always remember to not judge a book by its cover unless you know the contents inside. Thank you.